Hi Hydro World, it's Dr. Hydro here. I wanted to show you what we've been working on in the lab. So this is the HydroPower Mini Tower. It is the brainchild of me and my husband. He basically ripped the dream that's been haunting me for 2 years out of my head, and this is the beauty of it. So what I've done with this is I have sprouted seeds, I have propagated plants. Here I have my probably the only type of beautiful plant, decorative plant that produces nothing for me to consume that I love. I love this plant. I cloned this in the Hydro Tower, and we can see that it's got beautiful white roots that just came out this week. And I'm very excited because this little clone has been through a lot. This has been a work in progress for a month, probably longer, with trying to engineer it so that it causes a lot less problems for everybody out there when you build it at home, and so that your plants thrive when you put them in here. So let's take a closer look at the inner workings of the HydroPower Mini Tower. All right, so let's take a look at what this whole thing is made out of. So we've got a 5-gallon bucket that you can buy from your local big box store. We're using this as our reservoir. It has water, it has nutrient charged water in it, of course, because this is the Dr. Hydro show. And then what I love about this thing is that it just comes up in one piece, right? It's all just one beautiful piece. If you need to look inside and do any kind of maintenance, you just pick this thing up and drop it right back in. It has 8 planters in it right now. Here we have onions, 2 different kinds of lettuce, another kind of lettuce, my little pretty plant, another kind of lettuce, and more onions. I've also taken and wrapped the PVC fixtures with some sticky-sided aluminum insulation to try to keep that water temperature inside at that ideal range of 68 to 70. So what else is attached to this? This is a timer plug. You can buy these off of Amazon. They're very, very cheap. And this is on a timer so that it runs once every few hours, and you can customize that to your basic needs. But I don't have this running all the time. We don't need to run our things all the time, and, because that pump is going to cause it's going to generate some heat inside this reservoir. And the less heat inside this water, the better. So I've got this thing on a timer. I'm going to take it off so that I can turn it on right now and show you how it works. And if we come in here, we can just take this little pod insert out. And actually, let's just go right ahead and see how our plants are doing. Look at this. This was started in this tower, and these roots are gorgeous. Let's see my little pretty baby. Beautiful white bone-colored roots. Now, why am I showing you the roots? I'm showing you the roots because with hydroponics, if the root structure is not healthy, the plant will not be healthy. It's actually true across all the mediums that you grow in. If your roots are not healthy, your plant's just going to suffer. It's not going to be what you want it to be. So the fact that this tower alone has kept these plants having that beautiful, healthy root structure is just showing me that this is something that is sustainable, and it's possible for anybody in small spaces to grow. So I'm actually going to be building 2 of these systems today, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to build one. I'm going to give one to each of my parents because both of my moms are having some issues with mobility, and I wanted to give this to them so that they could enjoy gardening even though they're not as able to get around. So let's get to it. All right, so let's get our shopping list together. I want you to go to the store, and I want you to get 1.5-inch PVC and 1/2-inch PVC. They sell these in 10-foot increments, and they're about 10 to 15 bucks each. Just get one 10-foot long, 1.5-inch PVC, and one 10-foot long, 1/2-inch PVC. You'll have leftover pieces, and you're gonna want them because this thing is really customizable, so you can actually add more stuff to it if you want later on. You're gonna go to the store and get 1.5-inch Y pipe, 1/2-inch ball valve. You're gonna want 4 of these 1.5-inch to 1/2-inch bushing or reducer. You're gonna wanna get 4 of these 1/2-inch elbows and 3 of these 1/2-inch tees. PVC cutter, this is a manual one. You do it with your hand. It's a crank style like this. You're gonna need this one. If you're gonna go this route, you're gonna need the 1.5-inch cutter. They sell them in different sizes. This one cuts 2.5 inches actually. But you're gonna wanna be cutting your 1.5-inch, and this is the largest size you're gonna cut. So you want something that can cut it if you're gonna use the hand cranker, right? After doing this so many times, we got this. It's good, we're good. I swear we're good. And this one, this little manual cutter will cut the 1/2-inch just fine if you wanna. You're gonna want something to mark your pipes with. Then you're gonna go to Amazon and you're gonna buy these timer plugs, okay? So that you can put your system on a timer. You don't need to run it all the time. That's a waste of electricity. And it doesn't really help your plants more. You just gotta keep that medium moist. While you're on Amazon, buy this a submersible pump. Doesn't have to be VivoSun, but we went with VivoSun 400 gallons per hour pump. That's more than what we need, but it's worked out for us. First one I bought was 800 gallons per hour, and it was way too much, and it made my reservoir temperature go up, and it caused root rot in my basil plant. You're gonna wanna use a drill, measuring tape, hole cutters. These attach to your drill. This is a 1/2-inch size, and this is a 1.5-inch size. You're also gonna wanna get a 5-gallon bucket. I've got a square Craftsman one. The darker the container, the better, because light breeds algae, which is the last thing you want. So I like this Craftsman one. It's got really cool handles. So this concludes your shopping list, and now we're gonna move on to the manual labor part of this. So you're gonna take your 1.5-inch PVC pipe, and you are going to measure 6 inches. Ta-da! For you hand crankers at home, you see how much I love you. I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, so this way is not as fun, but it gets the job done. Ta-da! All right, so we have our 4 6-inch, 1.5-inch PVC pieces. Put these aside. So now you need 4 15-inch, 1.5-inch PVC pieces. All right, 4 15-inch, 1.5-inch PVC. All right, so what we just did is we made the feet for our device. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are gonna be the legs of our device. All right, so we're gonna cut 4 inches in from the edge of the lid. And try to get it diagonally and not do that like I just did. All right, so 4 inches in is here. 4 inches in from the other side. It's here. And then we're gonna go 7.5 inches into the center of the lid. So now you should have each corner marked for cutting 4 inches in from the edges of the lid, and also a cut in the middle, which is 7.5 inches in the middle. Okay, there's one. Now we have 4 holes. All right, next we're gonna take our 1/2 inch cutting device and attach it to our drill. Ta-da! So now that we have drilled the holes into the lid of the container, let's go ahead and kind of dry fit this and see how it fits together. So grab your pump. You're not going to take a hammer and hammer it in there. You're just gonna kind of, with your hands, use the force in your hands, and then you can screw it on. All right, we're gonna go ahead now and put our wide pieces and connect them to our 6-inch pieces that we cut, and connect all that to the 15-inch legs with the bushings, aka reducers, on the top. Drop them right in. This is perfect. If your pump needs, you might need to maneuver your pump in case you drop one of these in and it sits on top of it. So now we need to put our ball valve on in order to figure out how much of the 1/2 inch PVC we need to cut to finish the top part here. All right, then you're gonna grab your 1/2 inch PVC pipe and you're gonna cut 4 3-inch pieces. So we're gonna put them inside the reducers at the top and push them in as far as you can. All right, so I put the 1/2 inch PVC cuts I just made into the top of my bushings, and then you're gonna get your elbows . And fit those on. Now we're gonna measure the distance between these 2 elbows and the center and make some cuts on our 1/2 inch PVC pipe. Next, you're gonna take your 1/2 inch PVC pipe and you're gonna make 1-inch cuts, and you're gonna do that 6 times. If you cut a little bit off, it's better to make it a little bit bigger if you have to be off, right? But try to be exact, but all right, 6 pieces. Take your T pieces and attach them to the ends and fit them in between. And this middle piece here is gonna go towards the center. And let's see how it fits. So 3 T pieces with 2 of the 1-inch PVC cuts I just made. That is tight. That feels really solid. Those T pieces really make it, all that junction of the T pieces really makes for a very sturdy feeling top, right? All right, so now we want to fill the gap between this top structure and this bottom, the top of the ball valve and the bottom of the T structure at the top. So let's measure. We're gonna wanna measure and give ourselves a little bit of extra PVC, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch up either side. All right, so my cuts for my 1/2 1/2-inch PVC to connect here ended up being 3 inches each in order to connect this top structure together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all this is nicely tight and fit together, and then I'm going to fill it up with water and see if it works. Let's fill this up. The suction cups on the sub pump just held, so I'm going to fill it up through one of these tubes here, so I don't need to take this thing and lift it all up. I can actually just stick my hose in here. So since we do want the water to return back down at a very reasonable pace, drill holes in the bottom feet. I didn't show that before because I just realized it now, I remembered it. So drill holes in the bottom of your feet so the water comes back down. It works. All right, so now that we have assembled it, we filled it with water, we know that it works, the water goes up and it comes back down. Let's talk about some other things that's important to know about this. These pieces up here, you need to be a little bit adaptable and a little bit flexible and be able to measure kind of on the spot the top part here. It's not gonna be a huge difference of, maybe like within an inch. It just depends on what you've got going on up here. So just be a little bit flexible when you get to the top. And it's really not a big deal if you need to cut, recut. You might make some things a little bit shorter than others, but if everything fits together tightly like this and there's no leaks, then you're good. This is the timer that I use. It's the Govee. I got it on Amazon. It's perfect. You can download the app and set your own timer to run your machine. I only run mine 3 times a day for an hour each time to keep my pods wet. And speaking of which, how do you plant your seeds in here? Well, you can do a couple things. You can do what I do, and you can buy the AeroGarden Grow Anything pod kit, which comes with, these plastic pod holders and then the pods themselves, and you can put the seeds right in there. Drop the pod like that and plug it right in. That's what I like to do. They sell the generic kind of off-brands of these, so you don't have to buy the AeroGarden brand. People have remade these. Or you can get a pool noodle and cut it, plant your seed right in there and drop it into your holder. So let's talk about gluing this. You might not want to glue this because it is customizable. You can actually keep stacking these pods higher. So maybe you don't want to glue this top part, or maybe you do want to glue these connector pieces, because this will always stay the same. But these pieces here, you might not want to glue them. I'm looking forward to stacking some more up on mine now that it's been successful with the 8 plants. Let's talk about, do we want to run your pump all the time? No. And why do you not want to run your pump all the time? First, you don't need to. You're wasting electricity, you're wasting water. Another thing is that your pump generates its own heat. So remember, the perfect temperature for hydroponic plants is within the range of 68 to 70, 75 max, and that pump will generate heat. It will make stuff hot in there. I actually had a basil get root rot, and I'm curing it right now with HydroGuard from one of my structures, not this one, the big tall one that I made. It got root rot from that because the pump generated heat, water was too warm. So I learned my lesson with that the hard way, and you don't have to go down that road because I did it for you. So don't run your pump all the time, it's not necessary. See what works out best for you. As long as your pods are wet, as long as this spongy material is wet, as long as your pool noodle is wet, your seeds are fine. They don't need to have water running on top of them all the time. How often should you change your reservoir water? Open up the lid every 2 weeks and see if it's dirty. Maybe you're feeling nice and you want to refresh your water anyway. Maybe you want to have, every Sunday or every other Sunday, you go around and you water your plants. Change your reservoir water then if you want to. You don't have to do it all the time. I'd say every 2 weeks is just fine. What can you grow in here? You can grow lettuce, herbs, basically anything that doesn't have a very large root structure. Can you grow tomatoes? You could germinate them in here. You can grow them to a certain point, but you're gonna wanna move that tomato, that pepper, maybe even a cannabis. You might wanna move that to a bigger pot because that root structure needs room to spread out. So herbs, lettuce, things like that, those belong in here. But bigger root structures don't really belong in here. They won't thrive. So also with problems you might encounter with this, if you grow large rooted structures in here, you might get a clog in here, and that could lead to a big leak, and you don't want to deal with that. So make sure that you are keeping an eye on your roots in there, because your bigger plants, they should go more towards the bottom, and once they start filling up the space inside of here, get them out of there and put a new seed in there. Thank you all for watching me build this HydroPower Mini Tower. I hope you have success building your own at home. If you like the content I've been turning out, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to comment in the comment section. All the links will be in the description for all the things that we use to build our HydroPower Mini Tower. And stay tuned for more interesting content. Thank you.